Listen, Linda, it's not about an AI robot or an autonomous taxi. Tesla's getting ready to have a significant presence in the Class 8 heavy-duty space. This is what's going to pick up the Tesla company from where it was and propel it into where it needs to be. I feel as though what I've been watching is a chess player putting their pieces on the board and getting a strategy unfolding in order for the soon attack for checkmate is basically what I see going on. If we kind of roll back the clock, what happened with Tesla over the past 18 months, there was a significant downturn. There was talk about them having to do rollback, and there was this kind of fits and spurts associated with the robotaxi, which I'm not really going to get into. I don't really follow it close enough to speak intelligently on it anyway. But this I have been watching because as a DC fast charging person who focuses on what's coming new, this has definitely been something that I've caught wind of, the Tesla Semi program, because you can't sell Tesla Semis if you don't have places to charge them. And so what we've been seeing unfold is a very methodical approach in order to getting the chargers. And as a result, I've been kind of in tune with what's been going on at the Tesla Semi factory. Heinrich Zangler has been doing a really good job of covering it. He's a YouTuber who covers the Giga Nevada factory. And if we could roll the clock back just a little bit to kind of review what happened with Tesla in the past 18 months, there was, this whole downturn situation associated with the removal of the $7,500 tax credit and some political foray from Elon's venturing into politics and some blowback from that. But the resulting effect of those cumulative events, we've heard about the retiring of the X and S, and Fremont getting retooled for Optimus was basically what we were told. And the numbers don't look great as far as sales go. The stock price is still pretty good, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. But the sales numbers are kind of dismal. They've been on a downturn and things like that. But through all that cost cutting, layoffs, retiring of models, trimming down, that type of thing, the Tesla Semi factory proceeded to get built. That takes a massive amount of capital. You don't see them building factories anywhere else around the world. In fact, you see them just trying to sustain their factories, just trying to get some kind of production through their factories. You don't see new remember there was a factory supposed to be going into Mexico. That got kiboshed. That is not happening. But what is happening is the Tesla Semi factory. And just this past week, we saw an announcement by Dan Priestley and the Tesla Semi team's X account showing all these very happy people showing up to work as they enter series production of the Tesla Semi. Now, we need to fast forward a little bit because you can get a couple vehicles rolled off line, but can you sell them? And that's really the question is, can you sell them? And another piece of the chess puzzle landed in place today. Let's very quickly go over some of the things that has been occurring. So we have two different posts. This is from Tesla Charging showing the Megacharger and the Basecharger. The Basecharger is for behind the fence fleets. And basically what is the strategy that is going to happen here is, okay, well, we've got this new entry into the Class 8 heavy-duty space, and there's basically two ways of using a heavy-duty truck. You could either go overland for long-haul routes, in which case you need the Megawatt chargers, or you could do behind-the-fence daily routes, in which case you need something behind the fence. And you can put Megawatt chargers behind the fence, but it's not really the right tool for that because the duty cycle for those are generally during the daylight hours. And then at evening, it would come back to the depot behind the fence, plug in, and if it was plugged into a Megawatt, it'd be finished prior to its next duty cycle requirement. So it's better to right-size something for a behind-the-fence solution. And just very quickly, behind the fence, what we have been seeing is we've been talking about these Megawatt chargers going in. And just here in Charlotte, North Carolina, a little sleepy Charlotte, North Carolina, we've got two. This is one at a Frito-Lay facility. And I've been here, and you can see the space is right here. I haven't been there recently, but this is the space. And if you go to the design docs, you can see it's exactly right where they're saying it's going to go. And this is what it's going to look like with Megapacks and the whole shebang, getting ready to power Frito-Lay's Tesla semis as they come through Charlotte or do their daily duty cycles. There's another one over here off Sugar Creek Road, and this is going to be public. And similarly, we have plans showing a station build. I have been to this place also, and there's no construction currently going on, but we at least have permit design documents indicating that the intention seems to be going forward with the station at this location. So just in Charlotte, North Carolina, there's 2 megawatt stations going in. So there is that. Another piece of the puzzle, and we have to remember the backdrop. The Tesla Semi has entered series production. We have these 2 announcements, and what happens next week is the ACT Expo, where these things get sold. And now just think about the people who operate fleets are the most unpolitical crew you could think of. They look at spreadsheets and duty cycle costs, and that's it. They don't they don't really care about the color of the vehicle. They're not into little new features. It's like, can it perform the function that I need it to? And what's the cost to run the thing is basically the question. And so what Tesla has come out with today is an augmentation to the Megawatt charging system, which is something called the Basecharger for longer stays. Now, very quickly, I just want to go over some of the additional things that have been happening. We also saw, let me just kind of pull it up, if I may, and I apologize, I'm going to have to spin over to the state of California. Where is toggle all? Stick with me. I promise it'll be worth it. I apologize. I forgot I wasn't on PlugShare. It was on LinkedIn that I saw it. And here's the post. Travel Centers of America, Ontario, California, where there is a new place to charge your Tesla Semi. So again, chess pieces falling into place. We know from the Tesla charging website that there's 66 sites where there are pin drops. There's 2 that are open. I don't think this one is on there. 66 sites, 2 that are open, so plenty of more locations coming. But today we learned about this little bugger, which is the 125 kilowatt Basecharger. And you might be thinking, why would you be charging your 900 kilowatt hour long range Tesla Semi on a 125 kilowatt charger? Now, if you do the math on that, let's just say instead of 125 kilowatts, it was 100 kilowatts, that would be 9 hours. And basically the time it takes for someone to sleep and get back to work with a fresh cup of coffee in their hand. So if it was a long range truck and it was completely depleted and needed to be charged back up to 100%, that would be 9 hours. It's 125, so it could do actually a little bit better than that. So there's that. So assuming that you're doing a daily duty cycle instead of a long haul cross country where you need the Megawatt in order to get recharged quickly, 125 is the right number. And Tesla did something that Tesla has never done before. It's an all-in-one. Always, Tesla has had distributed systems where the dispensers were basically just dumb handles with a very light user interface. But this is an all-in-one unit. You don't need any charging cabinets off to the side. You can put electricity right into these. And where are the stats? I have them written down, but I'm trying to get them pulled up here. It's basically a 6 meter long cable from what I understand, and 6 meters is close to 20 feet. So not only is it an all-in-one unit, which is a deviation from what Tesla normally does, but it's also a 20-foot long cable. Just think of if we all had 20-foot long cables at Tesla supercharger stations, what we'd be living the life, right? Holy smokes. And I'm trying to look for the specs. I do have them written down here. It's 125 kilowatts, 150 amps, and 182,000 volts with a 6 meter long cable weighing about 100 kilograms. Specifically, you could see here it's taller than what we would normally see a Tesla supercharger V4 dispenser to look like. And I think this is right around 6 feet in height. So you've got to get the perspective. This will be very easy to distinguish between a normal Tesla supercharger station because it's taller and it has a much longer cable and it's a little bit thicker. So we have more thick. Now, why would this be good? Let's just, again, play through a unsuspecting fleet operator showing up to the Tesla stall at ACT Expo. Let's just say that happens. Say you can get your electric truck. You can get your electric charger, which is, let's see, how much do these things cost? I think it's right around $40,000 per charger, and you could actually daisy chain multiple of them together. You can get your charger, your truck, all in one, and you don't have to go with the whole megawatt system where it's outputting 1.2 megawatts with the MCS. I think it's 3.2 standard currently now out. So basically a third of the price per charger, and as long as you're doing daily duty cycles with behind the fence fleet operations with your Class 8 truck, this is a very easy, compelling sell to get your feet wet as a initial low risk option in order to try the whole electrification thing for your heavy duty fleet operations. So think about that sell. It's all a question of numbers. And if you have a large charger that is super expensive, that skews the numbers. And now what Tesla has done is saying starting in 2027, basically when these things are hitting their stride with series production, and when I say these things, I mean the Tesla semis coming out of that new Nevada factory, what we have now is the onset of series production, but it's going to be a curtailed series production. It's not really like full series production. We're going to expect to see that sometime in 2027, at least from what I understand. Once that happens, you need to have customers being able to charge them somewhere. And initially, very likely, the people who are going to be early adopters want low-risk options with less expensive chargers. So that's what they've done. And they've also don't have to worry about putting these things out on a open road with overnight routes where there may or may not be successfully being able to charge overnight and park and things like that. So this is the lower risk segment of the Class 8 market. And again, the chess pieces are just falling into place. I really think this is a underserved story of the Tesla narrative right now. The people are talking about the Cybercab and the autonomy. They're talking about the Optimus robot and the digits and the hands and everything. Not a lot of coverage is happening with the Tesla Semi, and the volume of revenue that can be obtained after these things start landing into, I mean, it's like selling butter is easy. You know, it's going to be the duty cycle expense is lower, and the fuel is at a steady, known rate, and you can get your chargers for $40,000. At least from what I understand, the chargers are going to be sold for about $40,000. And if my research is correct, the Megawatt chargers are basically about $180,000 per post. So much more expensive. And it makes sense. If you're going to be dispensing electricity at a faster rate, it's going to cost more to do so. You need more components in those electronics. And if you have a standalone unit, there's less of a footprint. So all in all, it really reduces the buyer's remorse and the risk necessary in order to get your feet wet with the electrification. And we all know as people who drive electric cars that once you go electric, you just never go back, because why would you? Why do you want to have oil changes all the time? And with people who are operating Class 8 heavy-duty electric fleets, is the whole maintenance cycle associated with the keeping those trucks on the road is lessened when you transition to electric. And that's really the major compelling sell. I also understand, as these have been trialing, the regenerative braking is a major advantage to the Tesla semis offering, at least from what I've been hearing. Whether that's hyperbole or not, I don't know, but I have been hearing that the regenerative braking has been massively important. Okay, so where was the other thing? Yeah, here's a picture of it. I wonder if that's the same thing. Where can I? Oh, here it is. Sharing 100 kVA, so 3 base chargers can be daisy chained. 6 meter long cable. It's not 6 feet, 6 meters. That is one long, delicious looking Tesla cable right there. In fact, if nothing else, even if the Tesla Semi program completely collapses, which I don't think I think it's going to slay the market. I really think they're going to get a foothold, and then they're not going to be able to make these things fast enough. I really think that's going to be happening. But if one thing can happen, if we could over here in the car side get some of these nice long 6 meter long cables in our Tesla supercharger stations, boy, would that be a dream come true. I'm just saying. Anyway, again, my personal opinion is what we've been seeing is a chessboard getting laid out, getting ready for a attempt at checkmate, getting put on the board in front of us. This announcement today is one more piece of the puzzle falling in line. We have series production happening in Nevada, and we have megawatt chargers showing up in multiple places around the country as well. And I think it's pretty clear now that the secret is out. Tesla has a very strong, compelling play right ahead of the ACT Expo starting next week in order to have a conversation that is very easy, as I said, like selling butter, to people who are operating fleets. I think this is really going to start to pick up here soon. Regardless, exciting times in which we find ourselves, people. Appreciate you watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.